how to stay focused like this on Zoom University when really you feel like this. So I'll talk a little bit in this presentation about how to kind of keep yourself on track and motivated and organized when you're studying from home or trying to work from home, and trying to juggle all that the current pandemic situation has thrown at you. So there's a few steps that I found have helped me a lot, and hopefully you can make them work for you or change them in any way that you see fit to make them work for you. So the first and most important one that I know is to designate a workspace. You want a clean workspace where all of your things are nearby. And this might sound really obvious, but how many of us are really using our couches or our dining room table that we haven't cleaned in a month, or a space that is not designated for working? You want to keep enough room for your laptop plus your notebook, keep all of your supplies near, and try your best to separate your work area from food and leisure whenever possible. The next thing that I kind of like to focus on is to designate a work time. So how many of us have totally been in this scenario multiple times over the past couple of months when we've been working or doing school from home? We are in a Zoom class, but we hear the laundry room and we try and go and get our clothes out of the washing machine and put them in the dryer. If you couldn't do it on campus, you probably shouldn't do it while you're on Zoom. It's easy to become really distracted and to make it very hard for you to focus. No, like seriously focus. Your cat doesn't even want to be pet. Pretend you're at school and it'll help a lot. Maintaining that school-work-life balance will help you to stay focused and motivated. Another thing that I found really helpful is to actually use your agenda. So you can use like an analog agenda like you see me doing here, where you write out all of the times of the day and write out every single class, appointment, and thing that you have to go to, as well as anything that you have due. Writing it down reminds you so that you don't end up at 10 a.m. on a Sunday realizing you totally forgot you had class on Friday. The other option is to do it digitally. I like to do both digitally because your phone will send you reminders if you put it in Google Calendar or Outlook. And also when you do it like this, you can put all of the different appointments that you have in your phone, and you can even click on them and it'll take you straight to your Zoom app. So for the last second you forgot and you've got a 5-minute reminder that you have class, you go ahead and click on that class and it'll take you to Zoom. Another one is to get and stay organized. You want to make sure you're still taking your notes during class and keeping them clean, color coordinated so that you can and will revisit them, and to keep your notes, homework, tests, and everything for each subject and concept together, much like you would if you were still in school. So like here, I keep my notes separated by colors so that I know that each subject is which subject that it is. There's a couple different ways to write your notes out. There's 4 different ways you can kind of take notes at home, as long as you make sure that you're taking them during class or before class, if that's how you did it before, where you took the notes before your class, then you attended class and filled in any extra information. If you just watched the Zoom while thinking about something else or staring off into the distance or working on something unrelated to the class, you're going to find yourself falling behind and you're going to find it harder to focus. If you're taking your notes during class, it'll be much easier for you to focus in that class time on what you're doing. So there's 4 ways you can do this from home. The typical ways: you can handwrite it, type it, use digital notes, or fill in. If you're doing it handwritten, I suggest that you use a color with your notes. You keep them in their respective section and include handouts, and that you keep your quizzes, exams, and homework all with your notes so that when you're looking at it, you know that you did chapter 1, 2, and 3, and then you had an exam on it, and they're all together and easy to look for. The next 2 are typing and digitizing them. So again, still use a color with your notes. You can add and include photos and diagrams when you use these digital methods, which is helpful. You can keep your quizzes, exams, and homeworks neat and in a specific folder or place, and reference them in your notes digitally so that you know where to look. And in your digital notes, still try to keep them clean. You have the ability to tidy them up after the lecture if necessary. Import photos whenever possible, as well as diagrams and drawings, and you're also able to import your textbooks and annotate them. So as you can see here, you can write normal notes, or you can import PowerPoints or fill-in notes, and you can work through them, and you can even import pictures from your textbook. And that brings us to the last method you could do, which is fill in notes. If you've got a professor who provides you with notes where you fill them in as you're taking class, you can even either fill them in digitally with a note app. You can print the notes at home, or there are services like from Office Depot where you can print and bind the notes. Here are some apps that I think are really helpful to use for productivity. The first one is CamScan. So CamScan is basically an uploading app. You use CamScan, you could just take a picture like you normally would of any of the homework you've done or any notes that you've done, and you just take a picture with your cell phone, iPad, whatever you've got, and it will convert it to a clean PDF for you. So if you've crinkled the edges or anything like that, it'll put it into a clean, easy to read PDF, and then from there you can email it to your professor or upload it to Canvas. Another good app to use is GoodNotes 5 for digital notes, or OneNote, which is a free alternative if you happen to have an iPad or you use any digital software like that. It allows you to take notes on any PowerPoints or in any books that you have. It also lets you take notes just freehand on normal paper and switch back and forth between the two. And if you're working from home, this might be easy so that you're not using your backpack, and maybe you don't want all your papers to start piling up because you know yourself, like I know myself, and you'll get disorganized quickly. And the last app that I found really is helpful. It's called Flora, and it's for productivity. And it's a silly app, but it's free and really easy. And what happens is you set a timer for yourself, and as long as you do not open any applications on your phone other than this Flora app, that means no answering calls, no answering texts, no checking Instagram or Twitter, it will grow a tree for you. And as you can see right there, you can set up like a pay scheme through Google, which I would not recommend, but basically where if you don't work for 25 minutes, Google takes $5 out of your account. Again, I wouldn't recommend that, but it's there if you really need help. So lastly, just stay motivated. I would recommend Zooming with friends, taking a walk, and just remembering why you're here and why you're in school. It's really easy to stay inside for really long periods of time. And I would just recommend that if you can and when you can, get out and take a walk outside and have like specific times where you Zoom, call, or talk to friends about something other than school so that you keep your sanity and you're rejuvenated enough to go back to work. And probably most importantly is to ask questions soon and often. Visit office hours even though they're online, create study groups, go early and go often so you don't fall behind and feel really just overwhelmed. And just remember that you got this, and graduation is soon for some of you, and the rest of you will all get there. And just stay positive like a cat ion. Bye.